So recapping what we did with form validation, I've started over here with my login form, username and password, I've just to start with done HTML validation. So on the password field I have added these two things. I've added that it's required and I've added a minimum length. So what that looks like in any moment is when I click login, I've got my form. If I click submit, please fill out this field. That's the required aspect. And if it's less than 8 characters, please lengthen these characters to 8 characters or more. It's fine, no problem with that, but it's a bit limited and we can do a bit better. We're going to dive in and use some Bootstrap code. So as is normal, as we are expected to do, we go and look at an example. Getbootstrap.com is a great place to find this kind of stuff. Under form validation, we've got this form, and it's got the same kind of ideas. It's got these required fields for these input fields, required attributes, I should say. Two things. Firstly, there's a class, a Bootstrap class needs validation. We'll add that. Secondly, there's no validate, which is HTML, and that means that the HTML validation is turned off. So let's just grab those, take them back to my form. So form class equals, that looks right to me. That won't work because it needs an extra little bit of JavaScript, which I'm in this first instance just going to copy and paste and just slap straight into the bottom of this, but we'll do it a little bit tidier probably in a minute. So grab that. Basically this adds an event listener. When you click the submit button, it does some form.checkValidity stuff. We need to put it after the form because that event listener is attached to any form it can find. If we put it up here, it would not find that form because it hasn't loaded when it starts running the JavaScript. So we'll put it down here inside a pair of script tags. I'm not going to worry too much about tidying up my indentation, although it has actually come out correctly-ish. And save that and just check and see what we get this time. So my login button takes me to this. If I click submit, looks like I didn't. Am I on the wrong one? Login2.html. Yeah, I think no, it should be working. Why is that not working? Turned off the no validate. That's speech mark. That doesn't look right, does it? Let's try again. Restart. And let's try again. Login and submit. There we go. So we've got the username doesn't have any validation on it, so it's come up as a tick. This one's got this nice red outline, and if I put in something, it does submit. It does the red outline, but it doesn't actually tell me any information. We can take a little bit of control over that. So lost it. Where am I? Yep, here. These little classes here, div class equals invalid feedback. We could just grab a bit of that, throw that into the right place on that password inside the div for that, paste it, and you must have a password longer than 8 characters. At least 8 characters. So we've got that feedback there. Save that. Go again. Log in. Submit. That has popped up there. That's fine. We're done. We could do that. That's something we can build on for more complex validation if we need to. Also, I should point out this is client-side validation. We don't have a lot of control over the client. The user could be doing whatever they like in their browser. So there's plenty of circumstances where it makes good sense to have server-side validation as well. So over here, we can be checking what comes into that field if necessary. in this case, it's probably fine just as it is. There's as much validation as we need. We've got to start. I don't like having this script kind of dangling down here. Let's see if I can do something about that. I'm just going to pause. It's just so that we don't have me clicking and typing and stuff endlessly. Right, done that. So the tidying up I've done is I've made a new folder called static over here. It's a magic name in the same way that templates is a magic name. It has to be called static. This is where you put static files like CSS and JavaScript. So I've made a form validation.js and I've just dropped exactly the same code in there. And then I'm linking to it from my login page. So I put script source equals, and of course doing a little bit of background research, get the exact syntax for referring to something which is in your static folder. This will be really helpful when you're doing your CSS, of course. So script source equals, and then linking to that exact form validation.js file. That works perfectly. I can show you if you like. I know how excited you'll be to see this. Login, submit, still working perfectly. And actually, it's not a great thing that it's sat right here at the moment, because I'd probably want to use that in other forms as well. So I'm even going to take it right out of there, like that, Control X, and throw it into this layout, making sure that it goes after the block content to end block. So down here with my other script, that will work just fine. Cool. Validation, form validation. Not fully done, but certainly good enough for standard use and something to build on if you want to do something more complex.